All right. So, welcome to AI Crossfields new episode today. I'm Yusuf, and this show is, as usual, for one question only. Where is AI can keep its promise in a business and where it's just noise? Today, I'm with Rick Nobles. He's the founder of Excellence K-12, someone who spent 45 years earning trust in what might be the hardest room in the industry. Rick, thanks for coming along.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So let's make a start with take me through, Excellence K-12. What are you guys up to today over these past couple months? And
Sure.
just take us through, how you get here.
Okay. I'll be brief. We started Excellence K-12 in 2008. Partner and I had a different name until 2020 or 2019. We changed the name to Excellence K-12. My partner died in COVID. So it's just been me. We work with public school districts. We help school districts convince their patrons, their citizens, to voluntarily increase their taxes so the school district can use that money to renovate schools, to build new schools, to perform maintenance, all of that kind of stuff. We do that with a combination of phone survey and online surveys to get statistically accurate data and find out what kind of improvements or what kind of new buildings the public is interested in, and also how much they're willing to pay. So that's it in a nutshell. We do a few other things, but that's our bread and butter.
That's amazing. What would you say is the hardest bit about this business today?
Oh, it's reaching the target audience. School superintendents are closely guarded by secretaries who were Nazis in a former life. And it's really hard to get a superintendent on the telephone or via email to explain to them why they need our services. Most superintendents, when they come up through the ranks, they learn from the older guys who never used, our type service to pass bond issues. They just did it themselves. What the new guys don't understand is the national average for municipal bonds passing, and municipal bonds include school bonds, is only 55%. Our clients are successful 95% of the time because they know going in how to structure a ballot question that patrons have said that they will support.
That's brilliant. How did you see that kind of, getting through the door, getting to the right people changed over the past couple of years? Has there been any sort of influence by technology? Has technology helped at all?
AI is helping us today. We are late to the party a little bit, getting started with that. In the past, we've used AI to write some articles for us, write emails for clients. It's wonderful that, you tell AI to write 52 brief email messages on this topic and it does it in 3 seconds. So now I've got that in the can. And we have a client that will use one a week in the school year. So that kind of stuff has been cool. But we have recently started using AI to scour the web for us and find prospective clients on a nationwide basis. And I'm not sure what all AI does, but I know that they read board meeting notes. I know they read newspaper articles, all kinds of things that they're able to glean information from. And on a daily basis, AI tells me what prospects that I should be going after, complete with contact information and everything else. It is so easy as opposed to me getting on the phone twice a year and calling every school district in the Midwest to find out if they're going for a bond issue. So this is going to make our life easier and better because with this, we're able to expand to a nationwide footprint, and that's going to be exciting.
That's pretty cool. How has that been in terms of output and result? Obviously, the theory looks really good, and that's the kind of essence of the podcast is we're trying to understand what the theory does versus what's in reality. Has it been accurate in terms of getting you the right people?
Yes, and this is a relatively new thing for us. I just kind of programmed this in about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. And it took some iterations to get it, where I wanted it. Probably user error, not knowing the correct prompts, but I kind of was, being self-taught with that. And through trial and error, finally got it to where I want it to be. At this point, we need to make minor changes to our website. So when we send a national client prospect to our website, they see a different footprint than just this little agency in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's a really interesting take because I think, your industry is pretty much built on trust and relationship. Where do you see like, areas where you're probably not gonna even entertain the idea of AI versus places like prospecting and finding new districts maybe is quite useful.
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
So the question is, as the industry is built on relationship and people getting
Mhm.
to know you, where would you say areas that you're probably not going to use AI as much as what you've done with prospecting? Because prospecting,
Yeah.
working it.
And I may not be familiar enough with it to answer the question or to say this, but I don't think at this point we would be interested in having AI have any kind of client or prospect contact. Our business is built on relationships and trust. One of the things that we do for prospecting is we have a giant referral network of other companies that also call on school districts. So we trade information. So I got an architect firm that just called me a couple of days ago to let me know about a local client of theirs that's going for a bond issue in the spring. I didn't know about that. I turned around and was able to call a underwriter, a banker, and that's a friend and a referral source, and tell them about it. So we trading that information is great, and AI has given me a lot of chips to trade. So that's cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a really good example where referral you kind of mix in both, like a relationship and also technology.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, pretty cool. Where have you seen AI not really giving you any sort of output or any sort of trusted information for you to go and use it even further? Where have you? I'm assuming you're testing it in different areas of the business. Would you say there are some areas that you're not very comfortable using a technology in?
Yeah, and I would just go back to I wouldn't be comfortable with AI writing things that I'm going to send to a client.
Hmm.
It has to have my voice. For 18 years, these people have been getting my emails. They've been seeing me at conferences. They read about us on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. And so we have a brand that is pretty well established about what we're about and what we do. I don't think AI can replicate that brand voice. I may be wrong about that. I could try it in the future. Right now, there's no need to, but that would be something I would hesitate on.
Yeah, interesting. One of the conversation I had recently with someone who's been in the industry for about 35 years, he said AI still cannot read a room. Would you agree to some extent with that in terms of obviously AI can go through a lot of survey data and do the judgment in that and tell you the trends and things like that. Would you still say over that data you need judgment, or in your case, data in itself is a judgment?
Yes, I would say you need judgment when we're collecting, data via online surveys and photos and stuff or phone calls and stuff like that. AI could write reports for us, and I've considered that. We kind of have that down to a science. We've done hundreds of research projects and written hundreds of reports. It's mostly plug and play for us at this point. And again, my concern would be that AI would technically get it perfect, but might not get it the way people see us today. And people, not to put an ego out there, but people like us. We try very hard to be likable, and part of that is, we're flawed creatures and we make mistakes, and people understand that, and that makes us human. So a little hesitant to
Mm.
give that over to AI.
That's fair enough. It's really interesting what you mentioned around people as well and likability of a brand or yourself and the team. I just want to understand from your perspective, where do you see the industry when it comes to AI, especially for education? Do you see a lot of clients, a lot of schools and students are towards certain tasks or certain areas that may be leaning into AI and other areas they're like, no? Hell no.
Yeah, from what I have seen, everybody's leaning into AI in the education sphere. Students are certainly using it. God bless them. They are so fearless with that stuff and they understand it so easily that they're able to do all kinds of things with it. I have grandkids who are junior high and senior high students, and the stuff that they're generating is amazing, way beyond what I have been able to do with Chat GPT. So yes, I see the students being able to use it. I see my daughter teaches fifth grade. I see her using it to help her generate lesson plans and those kinds of things. So yeah, I think it's wonderful. I know that there are some professions that it's probably going to take over, and that's going to cause people to have to learn a new profession. But at the end of the day, I think that it balances out that AI is so helpful to so many professions that it's okay.
It's interesting you said that because obviously you've been seeing new stuff and new trends for 45 years, things that promise to change everything.
Yep.
What do you think? Where do you rate AI compared to, I don't know, the internet, the iPhone, the blockchain, the metaverse? We've all kind of lived and see lots of trends. Where do you think AI rates compared to stuff like that?
Uh, Comparing AI to the ones that you just mentioned is like comparing a firecracker to an atomic bomb. AI is going to eclipse everything. We are just scratching the surface of this stuff. You know, it reminds me of the mid 1990s when
Mm.
people were just starting to build websites. Most companies didn't have websites and you had to educate them before you could sell them on that. That's where we're at, I think, with AI. Baby steps so far. I think when the population gets comfortable using it, I think it's going to absolutely explode.
That's maybe good news for some people, maybe for others, terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. So one question around, operations and how you're running your company today. Where would you say, obviously, with the firm, you know, reputation and customers, and being in service for a long time, if you could fix some of the stuff that you got today with AI, what would that be? I'm just trying to understand from a practicality point of view. Obviously, you've mentioned targeting and prospecting. Is there any other areas, or are you doubling down all the way in one avenue at a time?
Yeah, right now we're doubling down all the way. I have thought about different areas, and like I say, I know AI can write reports. It may be able to do some of the research, data analysis that we do, and I wouldn't mind turning that over because it's not donkey work; it's important work, but it's time consuming to go through a lot of data and pick out the stuff that's important and chunk the stuff that's not. I think AI could probably do that for us. I just haven't looked into it. If I go too far down that path, I'm probably costing an employee a job, and I don't want to do that. My team is important. Everyone's been with me at least 15 years, most of them 18 years, and I don't want to replace them with AI, uh, no matter how efficient it is. So I think you got to balance that.
What would you say to people who would say AI will not replace people more than, making them more efficient and making them focusing on the right things?
I, I think AI can be that, and I think it depends on people understanding how to use it and where to use it, as opposed to now. If you're some heartless billionaire, like, well, I won't name him, but if you're a heartless billionaire
I think
who's
we know what you're
just,
talking about.
yeah, you're just in it for the money. You don't care about your people. They're making slave wages anyway. Are they going to try and find a way to usurp, those employees? And yeah, that they are. They're already working on that, and they're trying to do it because AI is essentially free, and an employee costs you, $8 an hour or whatever. So I think that you're going to have some of that. I think it's going to be fairly heinous, and I think that there will be repercussions from that. I don't want to see my employees lose a job. I don't want to see my neighbors and my friends or my family get replaced by AI. And I think if everybody looks at it as an enhancement as opposed to a replacement, we can get there.
Rick, this has been really great to speak to you today. Any kind of final remarks, final words for people who are running businesses, they're afraid of AI? What would you say?
Yeah, a couple of things from an overarching standpoint. No guts, no glory. This is the opportunity for you to really expand your business to make a lot of money. Don't be scared of it. Once you get in and you start messing around with it is not the devil. It's not some big scary thing. It's a servant. The AI is there to serve you. And if you will let it do that and be smart about it, it'll help you a lot.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Well, thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Enjoyed
time.
it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.